Hey, I just want to take this time to say thank you for watching. Um, I'm excited about some new ventures and some things that I've been doing as far as growth and taking ministry and online ministry to another level. I'm thoroughly excited um, about certain moves that I have recently made with distributing my content as far as ministry content, podcasting, and other material that I have been working on over the past 6 months, maybe even more. Um, I would say about that past 8 or 9 months, so just about a year. We're shy of a year's time that I've been working on certain ventures with podcasting. Those that dedicatedly follow my material and content, you have been pre-exposed to podcasts that I have done as a trial, and you've also been exposed to interviews that I've shared that I've done with other content creators, other talk show hosts, other bloggers, and so forth. So I am most thankful for the process of growth that I have gone through over the past year. Um, on a ministry level, it has afforded me the ability to reach people all over the world in places that I have yet to visit. Um, and beyond that, I can't even express to you the level of growth that it has brought to my life, both spiritually and even financially. Um, I'm not afraid to even talk about the financial portion. One of the reasons why I'm making a notation of this right now is because a lot of times um, people see you as an author, they see you as an artist, they see you as an entrepreneur, and all they see is dollar signs, especially if your content is rich or you have presented yourself in a pleasant or uh, a way that people will buy into your imagery and so forth. And to be very frank and honest, I don't think I have arrived in no type of way. Um, I don't feel like um, I have scratched the surface, truth be told, of what my intention is and what I set myself forth to do. I feel like I have made certain strides of accomplishment, and those are just minor stepping stones. And I feel like this year becomes the start of going to that next place, taking it to the next step, and taking it to the next level. Um, I'm just so ecstatic. So, for a while, my business partners, some of my close friends, which is a closely knit handful of people that I communicate with, know that I've been deeply desiring to take my podcasts, some of my sermons, and a variety of things. And let me break it down through sermons, through podcasts. And when I say podcasts, I mean that breaks down into categories. So there's poetry, there's life coaching content, business content, and then there's ministry podcasts that I'll be doing. So having said that, um, my brand, so to speak, is empowerment, period. And I say that that is my brand because I venture off into several different areas: business, life coaching, relationships, spirituality, and so forth. So I utilize or say that my brand is empowerment. And the reason for that is because of all the different areas that I touch. Going forward this year, I'm thoroughly excited to release content um, through platforms that are very untraditional for a preacher, also very untraditional for a speaker of my type, such as a life coach, such as a business entrepreneur. And I'm deeply excited for the ministry component of it because so many people write me through email comments on YouTube and Twitter and several outlets all across social media. And their number one thing is, we love you as a preacher. You're a great and excellent teacher. We just want more. And a lot of times, I'm willing, I'm always ready to teach, to preach, to minister. It's just often people are not as forthcoming um, as they need to be. Sometimes people say that they're in a posture of being ready in their spirit or in their heart, but truth be told, they're not in a position to make a real commitment. So part of the holdback is not that I'm not ready to do my part. Giftings and callings come without repentance. There's plenty of people out here that can preach and teach and do some of the same things that I do, and I don't take that for granted. But I do understand that what God has engrafted in me is something unique that although you may receive similarities by working with other leaders, that there are hallmarks or there are place marks, there are, quote, trademarks that the Spirit has engrafted my ministry with. So, yes, working with someone else in ministry could be an awesome thing for anyone, but they may not receive some of the same um, engraftments, impacts, or deposits, or what's another good word? Um, Impartations. You may not receive some of the same things working with other people. And in my experience of ministry, a lot of individuals that I work with are engrafted or marked with a signature of my ministry. And what does that mean? For me, it means that my presence, the anointing that God has placed in my life, the teaching that I bring forth leaves a mark that's unchanged, leaves a mark that creates change, leaves a mark that creates discipline. Y'all excuse me, should have took that out a long time ago. Leaves a mark that is lasting. And I want you to think about that for a brief minute. I am not as old as some people think I am. Um, I'm very young in ministry. I have accomplished a lot in ministry in a short time frame of my life that most people twice, three times my age have not accomplished. I'm saying all that to say not bragging rights, but I'm saying all that to say that it's undeniable of the anointing that exists and how God uses me. While a lot of people will not give me the proper credit for certain things, undoubtedly, a lot of people pattern the changes that their ministry goes through, the strides or things that they decide to do in ministry, they pattern it off of the temperature of the changes that I make. So if I begin doing a prophetic institute or I begin doing a particular thing, there's so many people that begin to copy that. Um, and 9 times out of 10, it doesn't always work. One, because it's not their vision. And I want to say this to leaders that are listening to me right now. Stop worrying about producing the vision that God has called you to do. Step one, yes, take measures to protect what God has given you, that other people won't copy it and so forth and all of that. Um, that is to be understood. But at the same time, don't hold yourself back so much from doing the ministry that God has given you, worrying about, excuse me, other people copying you or trying to go and do it ahead of you and all of that. If you are worried about that, then the key signal is that you are surrounded by people and working with people that you don't need to be working with at all. food for thought. Let that rest on you for a second. If you're really in a space where you feel you cannot trust the people that you are most close to, that you interact with to do ministry, then you are in a space where you don't need to be working with those individuals. And for whatever reason that you're still holding on to them, might be a matter that you need to take in prayer, or might be a personal decision that you need to let them go. And most times we already know what the answer is. We already know what our truth is. Sometimes we have the problem. We get so used to certain things, the warfare we go through with certain people, the comfort of having certain individuals around. We get used to certain things, and we just really need to be careful with that. Don't allow those hangups or connections or relationships to hinder your next move and process in ministry. Now, y'all excuse me, allergies are going crazy. So much pollen and whatnot is outside and blowing like clouds in the wind, literally. Um, so that's what I'm dealing with in this moment. But I'm so thankful to be able to come back and blog and just shed a little bit of light about some of my next moves. Um, some of my next moves put me in a global space of distributing my content in ways that, like I said earlier, is untraditional. It's not expected of a preacher. It's not expected of someone in ministry to accomplish or strive to do something like this. And for me, it becomes all the more exciting because it puts me in a place of reaching people in ways that I would have never imagined, touching lives that I possibly would have never met or interacted with. And so that's always powerful. Um, in these last few years, I have grown as an entrepreneur with the content that I create, the books that I write, how I distribute them, how I communicate my message to my audience, my demographic. Um, and one of the reasons that I am moving towards creating podcasts is because I wanted to create digestible content, things that people ask me or um, email questions or write letters to me about. I want to be able to answer those things in a concrete way. And a lot of times when I'm asked spiritual questions or business questions or whatever they may be, you're not the only person asking that same question. So a time saver for me would be to create content and put things together that deal with enriching that particular topic that's presented or asked, and gives me the ability to provide one time an answer and answer it 1,000 times. So to those that get offended every now and then when you ask me a question and I refer you to my content and say, listen to this podcast or listen to this sermon, um, it's a reason that I'm suggesting you to do so, because the very thing that you're talking about or discussing with me is so much easier if you listen to that and then come back to me with any other questions that you have, because a lot of the things that you're stating or saying have been answered. And it saved me time, um, to those that are privileged enough to be able to speak to me on the phone or text me or call me. Because while I am widely available through social media and online outlets, I don't make the habit of befriending everyone and talking on the phone with everyone and doing those types of things. And it's okay. um, I don't have the time to connect with every single person. If I spoke to every single person that reaches out to me on a daily basis, I don't have enough time in a day to answer every phone call or deal with every person. And that's just realistic. There's not enough time. So I have to balance what I do. And one of the main reasons I came to you guys is to let you know my new podcast will be listed on iTunes. You'll also be able to listen for free on Spotify. Um, you will also be able to download some of my podcasts and teachings or sermons or whatever. You'll be able to do that through iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. So if you go on there even right now, one of the first ones and only ones that exist at this moment until another week or so is my podcast, Sick of Potential. If you have never heard that, I strongly suggest you take a listen. It's available on iTunes. It'll be on Amazon in the next couple of days. It's on Google Play. It's one of the podcasts that I did last year that gained so much attention, and it was completely unexpected. So I'm thankful for that. And just taking things to the next level. I've been working on content, what type of content for different things that I do that I want to provide to the community. I'm just excited about this next place, about this next level. Um, I'm really hoping that those of you that have supported in the past will continue to do so, as well as help me to spread the message and awareness about this new phase of online ministry. Um, and just to backtrack into one of my thoughts, in case I did not complete what I was stating, was one of the reasons I'm venturing into podcasting and creating this level of content is because of, again, the questions, um, the bombardment that I receive from people such as, could you please do some videos? Could you please do some online teaching? Could you please create some content teaching online? And this is the vehicle, this is the way that this is going to be done. It's one of the vehicles that makes the most sense for me. It's a move that helps me to establish my online presence, helps me to establish credibility. So there's so many benefits that go along with it versus just creating random content for YouTube. Um, that's what makes it all powerful for me. So I'm just so thankful once again to you guys that continue to support. And my biggest supporters come from the UK, Canada, trace regions of the islands, the Caribbean. Um, there's a couple more, but off the top of my head are not coming to me. So I just really, just truthfully want to say thank you to those that support, like I said, in the UK, the Caribbean, Canada, and even parts of West Africa and South Africa. I'm just so thankful for your outreach, for the comments, the emails, the support, the downloads. Um, the digital world is very powerful if you are in ministry and you have not ventured out. And by venturing out, I mean creating content online, such as podcasts, CDs that are downloadable, books in the digital world. And by books, I mean audio content, and I mean um, books through Kindle and other platforms like Kindle. This is the time to consider doing that. It's so vitally important. It makes uh, your content accessible and reachable to people's fingertips. And that's what is changing my life in this moment. So I'm just so thankful for this. I don't want to continue on because this has been the first video in a while that I have done on this channel. And I'm going to continue to create content, ministry content in the days to come. I'll be announcing more details about my website, and I'll also be announcing details about the new podcast shows with an S, because some of my content will be branded according to books that I have out or topics that are like in demand. So one of those things you can come to expect is a show specifically on prayer. Those of you that have followed me for the past 10 or more years know prayer is one of the hallmarks of my ministry. And I'll be creating a show that specifically deals with prayer, how to develop your relationship in divine communication with God, how to hear from Him, how to receive from Him, how to stay postured, how to develop discernment through prayer, fasting, all those types of things and topics that are important to spiritual enrichment. We will be discussing on that show. And then there are some others. So that's just one nugget I want to release. I don't want to over promise or give too much detail and then you guys hound me about your expectations. So I'm so thankful for this process and this journey. I'm glad that you guys are on board with me and a part of the process. I just want to say in advance, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Um, I have a ministry page on Facebook, Dr. Michael McCain Ministries. You can also Google me, Dr. Michael McCain Ministries, and you'll find some of my first uploads of sermons on various different websites. I'm going global, taking my content everywhere. Um, and I'm thankful. Thank you to those that push, encourage, support, sow seeds, all of that. Thank you, because without your help, without your continued support, it would not even be possible. So I just want to take this moment to say thank you. Thank you for listening. I'll be back in a short while with another video with a message that's near and dear to my heart. So please um, enjoy this video because it's over. Tweet it, share it on your social media sites, and I'll be back in just a few with another video um, with a message that's dear to me. Thanks for listening and watching.